Hello children, welcome back to biology class. In our previous classes, we learnt about external structure of the heart. Now we will learn internal structure of the heart. Please watch my video. If you like my video, please press like icon, and if you have not subscribed, please subscribe my channel. Now let us learn the internal structure of the heart. I have drawn the simple internal structure of the heart diagram over here. This internal structure of the heart diagram, when heart is located like this, the longitudinal section, when we cut the heart longitudinally, internally exactly how it looks is this exact diagram. So this diagram explains us about how the four chambers are located and how the blood flow takes place from one chamber to another chamber. Exactly what are the structures, internal structures which help for the internal flow of blood. So when we come over here, this is right auricle, this is right ventricle. So these two are right side chambers of the heart. So right side of the heart always carries deoxygenated blood. What blood? Deoxygenated blood. What is deoxygenated blood? It is carbon dioxide rich blood. So this is collecting chamber, carbon dioxide rich chamber. Blood comes to the right auricle from all the body parts. Right from the superior vena cava or precaval vein. We learnt it in our previous class, and this is from lower parts of the body, that is postcaval vein. From right auricle, blood enters into right ventricle. Now here there is an aperture over here called as right auriculo-ventricular aperture. Right auriculo-ventricular aperture. At this aperture, there is a valve called right auriculo-ventricular valve. Right auriculo-ventricular valve. Here, what is the use of the presence of this valve at this aperture? It helps the flow of blood only in one direction, that is from right auricle to right ventricle. So this right auriculo-ventricular valve is also called as tricuspid valve. It is also called as tricuspid valve. From the right ventricle, the deoxygenated blood has to go to lungs. Here we could see this deoxygenated blood is going back here, going into the pulmonary artery, which is looking like a tree trunk, larger structure. So this is pulmonary aorta or pulmonary artery. This deoxygenated blood enters over here. In here, pulmonary aorta. This is about the right side of the heart. When we come to the left side of the heart, our left side of the heart carries oxygenated blood. So this is left auricle, children. This is left ventricle. Now here from left auricle to left ventricle, there is an aperture over here. This aperture is left auriculo-ventricular aperture. Left auriculo-ventricular aperture. There is a valve, left auriculo-ventricular valve. This left auriculo-ventricular valve helps the flow of blood only in one direction. Here the valve which is present here is bicuspid valve. What is here? Tricuspid and bicuspid. Tricuspid means it contains 3 cusps. Bicuspid means it contains 2 cusps. So, as right side of the heart, near in between right auricle and left ventricle, there are 3 cusps. It is tricuspid valve. Left side of the heart, in between left auricle and left ventricle, there are 2 cusps. That is why it is bicuspid valve. Now from here, again the blood goes upwards, enters into systemic aorta. Here it is shown. So this is systemic aorta. Now here, when the blood flows from down to up, there is a scope, again the blood may come back. In order to prevent this, the backflow of the blood, here there is a valve called pulmonary valve. There is a valve called pulmonary valve. Left side of the heart, from left auricle to left ventricle, here again the blood is going up, entering into systemic aorta. So at this particular position also there is another valve called aortic valve. Aortic valve. Here we could see right auricle receives blood from precaval vein and postcaval vein. Blood enters into right auricle. From right auricle, blood enters into right ventricle through the valve called tricuspid valve. Now through tricuspid valve, blood which has entered into right ventricle enters into pulmonary aorta. Here there is a valve. That valve we call it as pulmonary valve. So tricuspid valve is considered as first valve. The second valve, that is from left auricle to left ventricle, that we consider it as second valve, bicuspid valve. So this is tricuspid valve, whereas this is bicuspid valve, second valve. The third valve, that is pulmonary valve, is the third valve. The fourth valve, the blood from left auricle to left ventricle, again from the left ventricle it's going into systemic aorta. That valve we call it as aortic valve. This aortic valve has considered as fourth valve. Now here we get doubt. The tricuspid valve and bicuspid valves, in order to hold the valve's structure firmly, there are thin thread-like structures. There are thin thread-like structures. These thin thread-like structures are called as Chordae Tendineae. Chordae Tendineae. Chordae Tendineae are the thin thread-like structures which hold the valves, right auriculoventricular valve, left auriculoventricular valve, that is tricuspid valve, and bicuspid valve. They hold the structure firmly, helps for the free flow of blood from one chamber to another chamber. Children, please feel free to ask your doubts in the comments. I'll try to respond at the earliest. Thank you. Close பண்ணியா